Hey folks, it's Lindsey Hustle with SPS back in the building over at the Horatio Williams Annual Coaches Forum, and we got the headliner right here himself. He will say that's not the case, but everyone was happy to see Coach Juwan Howard come and be in the building. Coach, how you doing?
Thank you. Thank
Good.
you.
On behalf of all the young fellows who grew up in Detroit watching the 5-5, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for the impact that you've had. I've interviewed your brother Chris, of course, Jalen and Jimmy. Ain't that right yet? We got to give it right.
Man, we got to make that happen.
For sure.
Yeah.
Your schedule, to say busy is an understatement, but you made time. You're here today. You share. You're fellowshipping.
Yes, sir.
Why is it so important for you to make sure you're at the Horatio Williams Annual Coaches Forum?
Well, first, when I got hired, at the University of Michigan, I've always wanted to continue to build relationships here in the state of Michigan, also in the city of Detroit, and I never forget, Perry Watson, who was my assistant coach, and I'm sure everyone knows who that is. All his great accolades that he's done here in the city of Detroit and with the high school basketball and also Detroit Mercy. But he was my assistant coach in Michigan, and he's someone who I look at as a mentor of mine. And we were just talking about people who I need to tap in with and get to know. And Horatio name always kept coming. Scott Perry, another one who's an assistant coach and from Detroit. Know all the grassroots of Detroit basketball. You got to meet Horatio, and I'm like, all right.
I keep hearing this over there.
Yeah. And so I never forget the first time that we met. I was like, wow, what a nice person and warm person. But then he started telling me stories about what he's done, with the relationships building from the college coaches in the state of Michigan and the high school coaches and AAU coaches, a lot of the grassroots guys that really down there on the ground, really trying to help impact these young men and women, and how it was important, to get to know some of the coaches and them to get to know me. And I agreed. I was like, man, well, I've heard so much about you, sir. And at the same time, I want to definitely tap into the city and the state of Michigan. With that being said, we've talked about, coming out to the event. And he's also talked about how he can help me, just building the relationships with a lot of the coaches. And then COVID hit.
Yeah, I remember
COVID hit. And so, as you know, with that year and a half, close to 2 years, it was like we lost a lot.
Yeah.
And we sure did. But at the same time, Horatio and I kept our communication line open. And then now to be here today, fast forward and an opportunity to see in person and see that the outcome and the following that he has and the respect level that he has amongst so many people, men and women, parents, coaches, on the high school level, collegiate level. Everyone just really appreciate the man and what he's done in helping our young men and women. So with that, it's a blessing to be here. It really is, and this is truly an honor. And I'm happy that I get the opportunity to see it and touch it in person. So I keep coming back.
No, we're happy to have you, and it means a lot. In Detroit, I'm sure in some way or form you feel close since you're a Chicago native, but this is like home. Talk about how you've been managing. You're wearing two iconic brands. Managing that, being a youthful coach, and still connecting with this transition from you kind of had like an old school basketball experience, and now you're like the new school coach. How has that been, bringing all that together when you're like probably one of the most popular individuals in many of the rooms you go in?
Well, it's fun. It really is.
It's fun. Don't
it's not stressful. Really? Because I don't allow it to become stressful.
Okay.
Yes, you're going to go through some adversity because that's a part of life. I never forget going through adversity when I was a young teenager. And, I moved on and went to college and hit a little adversity. Then I got to the NBA, had some good times and some adversity times as well. And that's life. And so now, I'm blessed to be in this position to, now be a coach and, as some would say, a mentor, a teacher. Those are moments where, you get thrown into the fire, but I look at it as every moment is a teaching moment because not only do I don't have all the answers. I try to, of course, humble myself and go and find it when I don't have it. I don't try to act like I do know. I enjoy building the relationships with the young man that I get a chance to impact, but I also get to learn from them, and I learn I learned a lot from them. So the relationship part of it is so important to me, and that's my why, because I enjoy building relationship. I also enjoy seeing our young men getting the opportunity to enjoy life, on a collegiate level. Because I remember the time when I was coming to college, and my family wasn't, I didn't have a mom and dad that I was.
You had lost your grandmother.
I lost my grandmother, and I was searching for a family. And my family happened to be a family that embraced me, and that was my college family.
Yeah.
My teammates became truly my brothers.
Right.
And then the college coaches, Steve Fisher and his staff became like the father figures. Like, that's how they took me in. And, there are times when I used to eat at their house, like on weekends. Or, not only they invite me, I invite myself.
Yeah, I'm coming.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But that relationship part of it is now still existing today. So I mentioned about Perry Watson and Scott Perry, but like Brian Dutcher, being there with him.
You went into the locker room after the championship game.
Yes, because, I felt like it was important to be there to support him. And then at a time when he was down, that's a moment where family had to step up and embrace. And then, like Steve Fisher, he was there present at the tournament, and he and I have been communicating. Like, I'm laughing because I'm laughing out of joy.
Sure.
Before every game, after every game, Coach Fisher always either call or text me.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. You can expect it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that's the relationship piece where I keep coming back to that word, relationship. Like, that is my family. And so, like, now I feel it's my duty to give back.
Right.
Obligation. Because there's some other young men that have a similar path as mine, or maybe not, but it doesn't matter. But like, for those who have given to me, it's my calling to go and serve.
Yeah, I get that.
So I'm serving.
You talked about family, and no pun intended, to be able to coach your boys. You made that public how great that was. How has that made you more effective as a coach when you have your own sons a part of this generation and you're coaching their peers as well? Does that give you any kind of added insight, you think?
Yes, it helps in a lot of ways, because like, I'm in tune to this generation. Because I have this generation at home. And do I know how to relate to them? Yes. Am I still corny dad? Yeah, I am.
I'm glad you. Do you feel cool or not?
Yeah. No, like my boys,
they say corny.
Yeah, my boys say corny.
Oh, man.
I'm dad to them.
But you want to be like, I have video swag though.
And I go back to that sometimes. I say, man, like my boys. Sometimes I'll wear like some clothing that my two boys, Jason, Jeff, feel that is young, and make me want to act like I'm looking young. I said, oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Man, y'all call this what, drip? Like, I've been doing this for a long time, brother, consistently. So if you want to talk about drip, like, I'm one of those who, forget, I ain't saying I started, I didn't, but I would tell you this, I can hold my own.
Yeah.
So like, now, like, my players, like, I love to relate with them.
Sure.
In the sense of, like, I'm not throwing myself on them.
Yeah.
It's organic. And they feel that it's organic. And that I just can see, like, they come up to my office, and, my door is always open, and, we don't have to always talk basketball.
Sure.
We're talking about life.
Right.
Or, I'm asking how their day going.
Right.
What can I do to help you?
And you can relate to what they're talking about.
Yes.
Let me ask you this: with your sons and your teammates, and we won't keep you too much longer. That food is smelling good. Well, the players, do they have an appreciation for your Fab Five status and what you did and what you guys did, or is it what they hear a lot, or they hear people talking about?
Well, having the Fab Five documentary, that truly helped.
I wore that thing out too, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, a lot of today's players, like my players, for example, they've all watched the documentary.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't ask them.
Sure.
But, like those conversations, or some of the things I can, hear them say, or if they want to, like, just, crack jokes on me. There's some of the things they recite those from the documentary they learned about me. But then also the parents, like, their parents are relatable because
those are your peers.
Correct.
Our peers, if you will.
Exactly right. So that helps. Yes, does it helps in recruiting?
They trying to say, I'm trying to tell you.
That helps in recruiting.
Big time.
It really does. And the parents remember, and they can remember like it was yesterday, the impact that we were having on the court. And they also remember, some of the things when you talk about with NIL that we fought hard for, the black socks, the long shorts, wearing just a plain blue T-shirt instead of wearing like a Michigan shirt because we saw where we wasn't getting compensated for our jerseys or anything like that, and at times I never forget we didn't have money to go and buy some food or something like that, and we put money together to make we can all have eat at the same time.
But your jerseys being sold in the bookstore.
Jerseys being sold. So that's the part of it that I look back on. I'm like, well, you know what? We are making an impact in a lot of ways. Today, the impact is being served and is being served loud.
Loud. I like that. I'm going to switch gears as we wrap up. I'm going to put my sports psychology hat on. We talked about mental health off camera. The DWIHN Integrated Health Network is being very supportive, allowing me and my platform to go throughout the area and talk to young people about mental health. You did a very class act type move when Michigan State and Tom Izzo came down to play you guys after the horrible campus crisis that happened. Can you just talk about that a little bit, about being a fierce competitor? I know I was with you when you guys came to Michigan State and you weren't happy with that. I know you're a fierce competitor, but still competing, but also acknowledging the need for healing and help and support. Can you kind of talk about that experience when they came down and you received them the way you did?
Yes. It's challenging when you see and hear about all the gun violence that's happening, across, our country. And it pains me when, you're in college and just in school, just in general, you're expecting when you drop your kid off for them to be safe. That's always been a safe haven. And I recall getting back to those days of college, never had an experience like that where they were shooting on campus. So to see and hear, from afar, the pain that it caused all those students at MSU, along with their community, it's hard to come back and just play a sport. Yeah, play a sport that we want to have an opportunity to entertain a lot of the viewers and to have bragging rights, poke our chests out because of the in-state rivalry. Well, at that time, the rivalry, when you suffer a tragic like that, there's no more rivalry. It goes away. It's a time where we got to, of course, step up, and I felt in our hearts to unite and to comfort. And that comfort piece, as Coach Izzo, understanding that his son, his girlfriend was, real close to that shooting, and then to hear about a lot of those students that were lost and their families, that they don't get a chance to hug and kiss their kids, their loved ones no more, and I do. I'm like, this is important for us.
So that hit you as a dad. That hit you as a father.
It hits home big time. And I know it hits many others big time as well. So it's this is a time when we put this rivalry aside. If they didn't want to play the game, I was fine with that. They decided, Michigan State, they wanted to play the game. Okay, well, we want to, give them our support and let them know that during their healing process, we're supporting them. And it just shows that, Michigan, it's really a united group that really cares and loves each other. Yes, when we go out there and compete in the game, let the game be the game.
Let the game be the game. And do that.
And then at the end of the day, we are human beings, and we do all of us do have a heart.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say, I know so many people who look to fellowship with you. Just personally growing up, man, watch you guys, and I'm just happy to be able to sit down and share. And I'll let your words be the last. If there are any last things you want to share to those who are watching and what they can get out of this going forward.
Well, I just say, man, this is impactful, and there is so much learning. And today was not only a day of learning for a lot of these high school and AAU coaches, but I learned a ton from all the coaches. And, you know, and it's nothing like hearing, you know, Coach Frank Martin. I was just soaking it up like a sponge and listening to, you know, all the gems that he was dropping to all of us. And I mean all of us, me included. And, you know, because I'm 4 years in as a head coach, and I want to continue to be a better version of myself to help serve our young men. And I asked them to go and work on their games in the summer. You know, it's important for me to continue to work on and become, you know, improved coach, that I can be a better leader, better father for our young men. So this is an impactful day for me, and I just really thank Horatio Williams for asking me to be a part of it. But at the same time, he doesn't know it, and I'll say it on film. Brother, I learned so much from being a part of this event today, so thank you for allowing me to be present.
That's awesome. No better words to be spoken. This is head coach Juwan Howard at the University of Michigan at the Horatio Williams Annual Coaches Forum. It's been a great day. With that, we'll see you guys next time. Lindsay, also SPS. Peace.
Go Blue.